Alright. Welcome everyone. This is going to be the last of the cutscene new game individual level speedrun guide videos. I will be covering both chapters 4 and 5 in this video, just due to the fact that chapter 4 is literally one room, and chapter 5 is relatively short as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started with chapter 4, which is going to be the Baron fight. So, a couple things to know here. Is this fight has two phases. It's got a what I call round phase. Round phase is basically damage him down to the ground, which will then put him into the airplane phase. At that point, that's got a different strat. So what we're going to need to do, we need to hit the Baron enough to knock him on the ground, so that he drops his weapon. Once he drops his weapon, then we can use it against him. We will be cheating with a super weapons and a turbo cooper to make that phase go as fast as possible. There are specific spots that I do stand to kind of make this easier. So the first thing I'm going to do, engage a little bit, you're going to back up. Once you do that, you're going to hit. You're going to come right to that tile, and get the second. And then I like to just take this hit, get the third hit, grab a super weapon, and pick the weapon up. Do be careful kind of where that negative can spawns, because that can mess with things, and if you use the wrong force controls, that will not go well. As you can see, I'm trying to get him in the air again, trying to just hit him in the air. As soon as he stops going red, you're just going to keep beating on him. He can't take damage out of his red, so we're going to do it. At this point, we're in the frame phase, so I'm going to grab this. Now you did that wrong. It's fine. 1, 2. You're going to be given the gun. You're going to pop him again. You're going to want to hold your controls in the direction of the Baron, because we're going to try and chain 2 hits together. And I got the second hit, and I try to destroy at the very least with the thrower. At this point, we're going to have those little and zombies. You cannot get another hit until the room is empty. They're out. And then he's going to charge again. And do the exact same thing. And again, have your control stick kind of in the place where he's going to be. You will need to be careful if he's in front of a painting. I actually still got the hit anyway because of the worm blow. So that's actually kind of nice. So once the Baron is out, you're just going to kill everything else. Weapon management is crucial when you get to this phase. But the game's actually really nice to me. There we go. And then at this point, once it gets to this final phase, you're just going to lodge yourself somewhere where you can charge and hit something. Usually this desk is consistent, or if you're going to end up in the bathroom, you can just loop around the bathroom. Once we get this last hit, get this last hit, and this will be it there. So I know that was kind of a lot all at once. The main thing to remember is use those points. First hit, round phase, you're going to kind of engage on him and then disengage. Once he charges, you can hit, and then stand in that spot that I was at. That will get the second one, and then just tank the third, breaking over to get the super weapons, grab the super weapons, grab his weapon, and then make your way over to that corner. If the turbo hasn't spawned, knock him down, grab the turbo, and you're just going to keep going, once he's red. You don't have to stop. You can do anything up to 3 hits at a time, so between 2 and 3, and you're going to go from there. At that point, once you're in the second phase, you're going to go do a melee on the side of the plane, not the front. What I like to do for the second hit of that is I do like to throw that vase. After that, you're going to be given the weapon. Once you're given the weapon, you're going to once again pop him on the side. At that point, you're going to want to have your control stick ready so you are aiming at the Baron. You're going to chain that together, clear the skeletons and the zombies out, and then you're going to do the exact same thing again. You're going to let him run, you're going to knock him, you're going to have your control stick ready, knock him again to spawn the worms and the pirate zombies. Should you need a super weapon, it is in the bathroom, in the sink, and you can kind of just stay in that area, and then once he's just back to the charging phase, you just put yourself in a place where he's not going to run into you, and or if you can move and kind of maneuver to where you're not getting hit. But other than that, I know that was a lot, I know it was very fast, but that's not really a room that I can go over in real time slow, because everything just happens all at once. But at that point, if you have any further questions with that, please let me know in the comments, whatever you want. I can definitely explain further if you have any difficulties with it. On to Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is kind of the... Chapter 4 is kind of the peak in difficulty. Chapter 5 just kind of goes down. Everything's relatively easy. There's only like 1 or 2 rooms that are going to give you any sorts of problems. So, that being said, we're going to start with Chapter 5. So the first thing here, you're just in the grand hallway. You just gotta get to the first skeleton door. That would be transporting you throughout the mansion to every prisoner that's been locked in a room. So you're just gonna spam text, grab the turbo, and just get out of the room. Well, 53 should be the correct time to get out. In the bathroom. So, this is going to turn into a hunchback fight. And it's also going to turn into not following the rules. Because that's a good chunk of Chapter 5. Because if you follow the rules, it's going to take you a minute to beat Chapter 5. So we're supposed to beat this weapon. No weapons. I don't care. Turbo over here. Don't need the Mini Cooper. Oko here. Grab the basket. You're basically just going to throw it right at him. If he starts to move, you do want to be a little bit patient with it. Also, running past when you're in the sauna won't cause any issues because the Reaper will not activate until he exits the sauna area. But just be a little careful with that, because if you miss the basket throw, then you're trying to deal with an Oko. Back to the conservatory. Turbo can here. You're going to kind of go wide left here, because that's kind of where the spot is for the lineup, so you're not doing a bunch of excess movement in the cutscene. And then what I like to do is grab the second one, and then loop back around to the exit. Very good challenge. And we're not going to do it. You're going to double back around, where you were just at. You're going to go to the entrance that you came into this room originally. There's a CC can. Grab that and get out. And that is Conservatory. Simple enough, not too much going on. Going on to... yeah, I think this goes Dunfiddlin Cottage. The order of these rooms I have a hard time remembering, but I know. Okay, so this, you are going to do the following. Break this. Spawn a Reaper. And you're going to come up here. Grab this. Grab it. Talk to Rips. And then you are going to run out of the room as fast as you can. And that's that. Simple. And a lot of these rooms are very quick, simple. There's not too much going on. Except for the 1 or 2 rooms that I was talking to you about, this is one of them. So there's a couple different ways to do this. I've seen a couple different people do different things. So you can either do this room the way I'm about to show you. You can take a more aggressive route, or you can use the burgers and the aluminum. Kind of up to you. I find the structure I use to be the fastest. Pop the clock, that's going to have the turbo. At this point, what I call the rest of the crew is going to pop out. And there's 5 of them. If you can get lucky with swords, because you will need to use the sword. If you're lucky, you can use 3 swings to kill all 5. I don't like messing with that. I like grabbing the super weapons and then going from there. So, 1 swing to kill the fire zombie, 1 swing, right, open the super weapons, and then use the super weapons to clear the rest of the room. Again, if you want to use the burgers and the Cocoa can, you can. It is possible to do that without picking the super weapons up, but it is very luck dependent and kind of dependent on where the enemies kind of group together. Pantry. Come over here. You really want to get in between 2. Shocker, blocker, turbo. Just have 1 mash. And that's the only thing you're doing in the entire room. So we're gonna double back, hold control stick down, and then move the camera with you and adjust accordingly. Again. Alright. At this point, this is the other room that can trip you up. This is we're back in Relic. Now, I don't like this Relic Store for a different reason, but this thing over here is gonna have a turbo. I'm gonna grab this, break that off with the super weapons. Come over here, and here we're gonna be faced with 4 mummies and 4 zombies. What you're gonna want to do is focus on the zombies by the exit, and then once everyone comes to you, you're going to work back to front, and I will show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna come over here, grab super weapons, take an unnecessary hit, that's funny. Alright, everyone is here. At this point, because I'm gonna work front to back. So I'm gonna get everybody to the door, and then I'm gonna work from the back of the room. That and miss that. And that's that. That room took me a long time to figure out a consistent strat for. But you just work. Get everybody into your corner, work back to front, and then leave the room. And that's it. Alright, laundry. Come in here. We're going to be given another challenge. We're not going to do it again. There's a lot of CC cans in Chapter 5. CC, of course, being challenge complete. I'm going to walk over here. Down here. Let's get close to that in case it shows up. You're going to come all the way down the stairs where you came in the first place. There's yet another challenge complete again. You're then going to come up, and we're going to do what's called laundry skip. So as soon as I get to here, that is an automatic 5,000 or 8,000. If you just hang around the wall, it doesn't activate. And that saves you a bunch of time, because that is, I think, a 10-button sequence. Back in the walled garden. She's going to give you the pop gun. You're going to grab this. Straight here. Again, we want to minimize that kind of directional movement. Then it enters a cutscene. And then you're going to be given the longest list of rules of any room in the game. 5 rules. And we're going to break them immediately. 2 ninja imps, 2 skeletons. Break them, get out. Very simple. That the ninja imps weren't really well placed together. Usually if they're, a little bit closer together, you can get to, both with one shot. Same thing with the skeletons, but ninja imps first, then the skeletons go from there. Simmer! We're gonna break this. Turbo here. You're gonna want to be very careful with this. make your way through. Try not to get hit, because if you get reverse controlled, it messes with things immediately. Actually, I'm going to shoot this, because in fact there's a backup. There's a backup turbo that I'm going to grab. Swing here. Again, just a little bit of timing. And then we're going to do Cinema Skip. I don't think it has a name, but that's what I'm going to call it. So if you get too close to her, she takes the gun back. Stand on the second stair, line it up correctly, and fire. The door will activate, and at this point, when you cross the plane, it will not be taken from you. And you can two-shot the door. It is the fastest way to do the room. It just, you gotta get used to it. If you think you're getting too close to her, just stop where you're at, work with what you got. You may have to kind of finagle with the camera a little bit, but it's not too bad. Lower corridors. There is a skip here that is worth going for, just because of the length of the room. Turbo Cooper here. Grab this room. That is going to skip. Right here. That doesn't happen. Yeah, you're gonna want to hope that doesn't happen. What you can do, if you can get hit the right direction. If you can get hit the right direction, you can get hit into the door. I'm done taking damage. You can do it. But yeah, the painting, if you're a little too close like I was, the painting hits you, it'll just hit you into the animation. I got nothing to say with this. This is just the game being mean. Hang kind of on the right side here. I'm literally trapped. Here we go. Alright, I still got hit in it. Wow, bad. Okay. But yeah, just jump. And just get out. So yeah, fine. Just kind of work around how the Medusas are moving and kind of stun lock as needed. And you're done with the actual mansion. But we still got one room to go. Gotta do? Gotta come down here. Melee one more time just to get that cutscene a little bit faster. You're going to be given Ma soup swell and a giant spoon. And you are just going to swing in the right direction. One thing to note is that the imps do have a slight invulnerability period. So you don't want to be right on top of them, or it's just going to be wasting hits. As you can see there, they're taking the hit, but they're not getting damage from it. So there's 50 of them on this side, 50 on the other side. You can click through that, there you go. And then you're going to head over to the other side. Rotate the camera kind of as you need it, or as you feel is needed. Kind of just work your way. I'm taking a lot of damage. Alright. Personal opinion, don't grab that. I find that to be not very helpful. And as much as you think that a picture of your favorite game would be helpful, it's not. At least I don't feel it's helpful. But once you clear out, someone's still get the last one, and that's that. And that's the end of Chapter 5. If you guys found the series helpful, definitely let me know. If there's things or further questions that you have, definitely let me know as well. I'm here about keeping track of comments when I go up. Some people questions, or just wondering, why are we doing it this way, we're doing it this way, or have ideas, run them past me, let's talk. We're gonna start getting into this. If I have time, I can definitely teach. That's not an issue. Just let me know. And if it's something you want to do, I'm here. But until then, we'll talk to you guys in the next video.